I was doing some thinking recently, and hate to say it, I think I'm done, maybe forever, probably not, but maybe forever buying new pistols. Let me talk about it. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk about a couple of categories of handguns that I've kind of landed on, and why I think the handgun that I chose is essentially the best I can do. And we'll go from there. In thinking about handguns, I've fallen into a couple of purposes that I feel are really important for me to have, as far as types of guns that fit certain purposes. Because of this, I feel like the market today, all those new guns coming out, while they're really cool, really innovative, and there might be really good options out there, I think that each iterative new option is not necessarily better than what I've got here. And again, this is kind of my line in the sand, and not wanting to just spend endless amounts of money on new products that might not yield better performance. So let's talk about each little category that I find, and we'll see kind of where I stand. First one, deep concealed carry. This is my Glock 43, and this is the configuration that I carry. It's actually loaded right now. But this is a standard size Glock 43. So it's the not the 43X. This is a standard Glock 43 with an aftermarket slide, with a Holosun 407K, which is actually really bright right now. I'll turn that down. I was carrying it yesterday, and it was bright outside. I do have a Terran Tactical base pad on the bottom of the magazine. Standard 6-round magazine plus 2 base pad is 8 rounds in the mag, plus 1 in the chamber is 9. So this gun is decently capable. I found it's more capable with the red dot on top. I shoot it better. With the standard iron sights, I was not shooting this gun as well as I would have wanted. I carry this in an inside the waistband holster, which I'm not going to show you right now, and it's something that I carry appendix, and it's something that I can have on my person, deeply concealed, and I wouldn't really want to go smaller than that into the pocket gun size, just because this is capable. I've got 9 rounds on board. 9 rounds of 9mm is damn good. Stepping down in a size to 380 ACP, I would be comfortable with that, but as far as carryability, performance, all that, I'd rather spend my time and the, let's say, $400-ish for a 380 ACP plus ammo, or if I'm going to go up to like a Walther PPK or something like that, you know, you're talking close to $1,000. I would much rather spend that ammo on this, that money in ammo for this guy, which also shares ammo compatibility with most of the other guns that I'm talking about, 9mm, and have this just be a gun that I'm just an ace with. The other side of the spectrum from deep concealed carry is overt, I don't care, I just want the best capable, the most capable firearm imaginable. This is what I landed on. Glock 17 Gen 3. It's boring. This gun has, ND with my light there, this gun has a Streamlight TLR1 HL, and yes, you can ND with a light on a Streamlight. I don't think it's that big of a deal, because if I'm using this, my capacity for using this, I am in or immediately around my home, and I want as much light as I can have in a given situation. If I'm stealthily walking around with this and I want to be super sneaky, that's not realistic, guys. So also, I can take off the light that easily if I need to. Just drop it on the ground or something. Oh, by the way, I have a Safariland, this is a, I don't want to say the name wrong, 6354DO holster that I did modify for this gun. It doesn't lock well without the light, but it will lock without the light. But it works a lot better with the light. I have that all set up for my battle belt, which is right there, hanging up in the basement. So if shit goes down, I throw in the belt, charge up the gun, and make sure I'm not charged up. Charge up the gun, take this, put the belt on, clip it on to the Safariland QLS system on the back, and this is my over open drop leg carry that just no issues with at all. I also did a texture job on this gun, and I love it. I can hold it really well, I can shoot it really well, and it's not intimidating at all to shoot for a 9mm. It's a great gun to train other people on. So I've talked about deep concealed carry and overt carry. On the overt carry side, if I'm going to be dressing up, maybe I want an outside the waistband holster. Sometimes I will wear my Walther P99 at my 5 o'clock position, not quite small in the back, but back there. And sometimes I will wear my 1911. But let's be honest, that's more ornamental than anything else, the 1911. The 1911 is primarily a range toy, and while that is an absolutely adequate category, it's not a necessary category for me. The last category I'm going to talk about is the kind of middle of the road. It's the concealed carry pistol, but I don't need to be deep concealed, and I don't want to be overt. Let's talk about that. The gun that I fall to quite a bit is either the Glock 19. This is my Gen 3 19C. I really like the Gen 3 Glocks because they just work. This one has never had a hiccup at all, and some people say that about Glocks. I've had Glocks that have had hiccups. That Glock 17 that I showed earlier has had a couple of hiccups on it. I had a Glock 23 that was just chronically having issues, a Gen 2 Glock 23C. I have a Glock 32 that I have issues on, mostly with light primer strikes. Gen 3, great gun, really capable gun. But this and my Glock 27 that is not on the table here are the only two Glocks that I have that have literally never hiccuped. This guy, great gun, mid-size handgun, so I can get a full grip on it. It does conceal decently well. I do have to kind of dress around it, but with my body type, it's okay. And I feel actually pretty capable with this. I don't feel undergunned. If I go to the range, I can put in a full day on the gun without fatigue, soreness. There's always fatigue, but without soreness and pain like I would the Glock 43. Great gun, works really well. The compensator, the porting on the gun, does make it louder to shoot and more blasty, but and it would be kind of worse indoors, but whatever. The gun shoots super flat. I love it. On the more Gucci side of the house, this is my Timberwolf Compact with a Zev slide and a Holosun. This is the 507C Gen 2. Aftermarket barrel, magwell on the bottom. This is the Gucci version of this. They both fit in the same holsters. Make sure you get one with an RMR relief or optic relief. They also fit in that Safariland holster, and that's really cool because if I have a carry gun and I just want to transition it to kind of a backup for my overt carry, I can also throw a light on here, pop it in that Safariland holster, and it works perfectly. I can also use magazines from the 17 in the 19s, 19 size guns. This is just an insanely capable blaster. It has an upgraded trigger. Totally not necessary but I think this is a really good option to have a capable, really capable semi-automatic pistol that is also concealable. This is kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to the right size and capability. Not necessary, but definite honorable mention. The last gun in the concealed carry but kind of mid-size category, that kind of sweet spot that I find, and the reason that I have so many guns in this category of ones that if I had to do it again I would definitely pick all of these up, is my HK45C. This gun is just fantastic. This almost made it to the next category, which we'll get to in a second, but this gun is so good. It has 8 rounds of 45 ACP, plus 1 in the chamber for a total of 9 on board. I have 10 round magazines all over the place. These big elephant foot magazines. It's Connecticut, New York, and a whole bunch of other areas compatible. Obviously, your pistol permit and laws and concealed carry stuff may not be, but the gun is. So you can get it despite any kind of like weird assault weapon bans or whatever's going on. This gun is incredibly reliable. This is another pistol that I've never had a fault with at all, ever. Never hiccuped. I bought it used. I don't know how many rounds were on it when I bought it used, but I've put easily over 1,500 rounds on it, and no hiccups at all. This gun is great. It's not the most forgiving gun, but when I do my part, when I'm focused and when I can drill this thing, it goes exactly where I want it, and it's just such a good feeling. Also, the LEM trigger on here does have, it is loaded, so I'm not going to touch the trigger to show you this, but it does have a certain amount of comfort when it comes to reholstering. I put my thumb on the back and I can reholster safely and effectively without the worry of something getting in the trigger guard, like on the Glock, and accidentally shooting the gun. This category is my wild card. This is the zombie apocalypse. Things are just burning to the ground. You don't know what's going on. You gotta bug out whatever's going on. And you want something that can do everything that you want a sidearm to do and be bulletproof, reliable while getting there. Take a guess in the comments what you guys think mine is, if you got a chance, before you get to this point in the video. Also, I want to hear what your guys' gun is for this role. This is the, Red Dawn scenario, Terminator, you name it. This is the handgun that you strap on. Obviously, a handgun's not the best choice in those criteria, but this is the one that you choose to be on your side while you're running your SCAR 17 or whatever's going on. HK USP Compact. This gun can do everything for me. I love it. I have had one failure with this gun that was documented on video. There was a round that failed to extract from the chamber. Steel case ammo, lacquer covered, just seized up in there, was not good. This gun is a double action, single action with a safety. I love that configuration. It's not the easiest configuration to train people on, but it works. It works for a concealed carry pistol. It's a little chunky, chunkier than the Glock 19, for example. But it works great. I love it. It's a very, very, very good pistol. Also has a paddle magazine release, 13 rounds in the magazine. Obviously, if you live in a capacity limited state, like I do, you're limited to 10. But it's a really, really good pistol. Accurate, reliable. It does not have a nice light rail. I've got an adapter if I want to put a light on it. It does not have interchangeable grips. Conveniently, it fits my hand perfectly. I wear medium glove size hands, and I couldn't ask for anything better. The only thing that might defeat this, if I was looking at an end of the world gun, would be like a full size USP, or maybe like an H&K P30 or something. Which I've shot. I love it. I just don't own it. So now here we are. I have my subcompact deep carry gun. I've got my full-size overt gun. I have my mid-size concealed carry when I don't have to be ultra compact, but I want a little more capability than that, kind of the sweet spot. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. And then I've got my wild card. Those 4 categories are here. The last category I alluded to earlier, it is my range toy category. This is the 1911s out there. I love 1911s. They're so fun to shoot. They're so good to shoot. But when it came to something really serious, I cannot see myself using one for a serious circumstance. Your experience, your expertise, your skill, and your familiarity may vary from mine, but I just can't see it. I have built my own 1911. I love it. I love the way they work. And I also know that something like the Glock or the USP Compact is probably, in a long-term situation, a better option. When it comes to a range toy, I may pick up something like HKP 30L, throw a compensator, Gucci'd up, whatever on there, maybe a long slide VP9, and there's a chance I would also pick up something like a Glock 34, send it out to a company, get it milled, get it super high speed, and kind of go from there. But other than those 2 options, I don't think there's much that I will be purchasing from here on going forward. When it comes to animal defense, like mountain lions, black bears, things like that I would deal with in my area, I don't need a 10mm. 40 Smith & Wesson is fine, especially if I choose the right load of 40. 357 SIG is fine, and even the right load of 45 or probably 9mm would do fine. If I feel like I need to step it up to a 10mm, I might as well step it up to a lever gun or a shotgun at that point. Just be, something that can thump, like a 44 Magnum or a 12 gauge, honestly. So when it comes to animal defense, I don't think there's any more role that a pistol can fill for me. I'm not talking like, deep Alaska country when you want something like, a 454 Casull revolver, or even a 44 Magnum revolver or something like that. When it comes to shooting also, safe direction, I tend to have my support hand thumb forward, so I find that whenever I shoot revolvers, I have to make a conscious decision to wrap it. And that's not fun because I'm worried about blasting my thumb. So staying consistent with semi-automatic pistol just works better for me and for what I do, which is why I haven't gone into that ultralight 38 Special or 22 LR or some other small snub-nosed revolver for my deep ultra concealed carry. Fun fact, you can carry this at the gym. And there's other holsters like the Filster holster that they have that kind of like straps onto your body, not your belt, that work even better for this kind of setup. This is light enough, it'll work. So that said, that's kind of my spectrum of firearms. My ultra deep carry, my deep carry, my overt carry, and then my kind of middle of the road carry guns. So that's it for pistols. I don't think I need to buy anything more. Everything new that comes on the market is exciting. I'm just not as excited as I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago when I got into this hobby. So it's something that I just want to give you guys kind of where I stand, and I also want to kind of put a flag in the sand for myself, for future me, to look back and see where I am in 2023. And maybe I'll pare down some of these. I don't know. When it comes to my home defense pistol, that has changed recently. I was using my Glock 32 in 357 SIG. I have a super textured grip on that. Great gun, all that. But I realized it might be better if I was going to be arming someone else, to have my Walther P99 with a light on it. So that was a big change. But any one of these guns, maybe except for the deep carry, Glock 43 would be totally adequate as a home defense pistol, if that's something you're going for. Definitely the Glock 17, definitely the Glock 19, and definitely either of the two H&Ks that I showed. I know it's really exciting to always pick up a new toy, to go to the gun store, see something in the counter, and to pick it up. There's a lot that I have on that kind of like drool factor. Other H&Ks, SIGs, I don't even own a SIG. But the 226, the 229, the 228, all of those guns, specifically for me, are things that I find really, really exciting, and I want to have in my collection. The Beretta 92 is a great gun. Most 1911s are way up there. I'm a big fan of old pistols as well. And my CZs are fantastic. They're really, really good guns, and I love them. But to be completely honest, I think these, not this specifically, but these guns tend to do a slightly better job for me, and that's just me shooting them. When it comes to the CZ75, I really find it incredible. It's a great pistol. But when I pick up something and I'm like, in the last year, there's been 2 instances where someone has come on our property and they were uninvited, and we ended up having to call the police to get them taken out of here, literally. One case, the person left before the cops showed up, but the cops were called. I actually have videos on both the incidents in my YouTube channel down below, but what I really wanted to do was emphasize when there's a bump in the night, when there's something going on, when I've got to check out, I hear some screaming outside, and I put a pistol on, and I go check out what's going on. Even though I've never had to use any of these, and even though I hope I never have to use any of these are the ones that I'm gravitating toward more and more as my life goes on. These are the guns that I trust more and more. I'm not saying every H&K USP is the perfect option for you. I'm not saying the Glock 17 is the perfect option for you. I know some people that can't shoot a Glock worth shit, and they can shoot a VP9 or an M&P. That's a great pistol, by the way, the Smith & Wesson M&P. I personally had one, and I just, at the time that I had it, I couldn't find holsters or spare mags or anything, and it was just a bad time to have it. Gen 1 also, and I wasn't a big fan of the trigger reset, and I ended up selling it for a Glock 22 RTF, which was a good gun, and then I used it to buy the Glock 17. Probably the M&P, no, definitely, the M&P would have been a very good option to keep around. I'm not saying this is the list that you have to have, but these are the ones that I have said, going forward, this is kind of the bare bones of what I have in my collection. If I had to condense it down to one, H&K, USP, compact, but that's a hard choice to make. And when I just open up the spigot a little bit, these are the ones that come out. Stay safe out there, guys. I'll see ya.